was an international win in the Champions and Chaser last season. Will it be 2 in a row for the visitors, or will one of the locals take the spoils in the last Group 1 of the season? We will preview it all right here on the show for you. Welcome to Racing to Win. We've got Tom Wood, Nick Child in the studio, and it's the locals versus Dubai Honour, Nick.
Certainly is, yeah. Look, he's coming back for another go, and he's no stranger, is he? Dubai Honour to Sha Tin in Hong Kong, that's for sure. And he's run here with plenty of credit down through the years, but he's still looking for that elusive first win, Mark.
He is. We'll focus on him in detail. Tom Wood joins us too in Paul Lally chair, so you better tell us if there's jackpots.
There are jackpots. So Mark, hello to you and to everyone. We've got, of course, a bit of money going forward to the 4th and the 5th double trio, $1 million there. And we're also seeding the pool with $1.5 million for the quartet and first four pool for the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup. Biggest field it would have had in this race for about 20 years, with the 10 runners going around in the last race, or the last race, race 11. The last race, that's a belter as well. Lots of up-and-coming 3-year-olds there.
Absolutely, and as Tom said, race 11. So we've got an earlier start time with the Griffins joining us to get things underway. We'll look at the start times after we see that it's 11 on the A course, all on the turf, 12:30 the first. The race that we focus on is at 4:10. You'll see there's a 40-minute gap between races 6 and 7. There is a welcome home romantic warrior ceremony in that gap. But the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup looks this way. Voyage Bubble at the top. Dubai Honour, 5th time at Sha Tin for him. The Derby winner, Cap Ferrar, ensued, ran 4th in the Vase at his only look over 2,400 metres. Ruby Lot ran 5th in the Derby. 5G Patch and La City Blanche always appear in the staying races. And then the Queen Mother Memorial winner down the bottom, Bundle Award. Andrea Atzeni takes the ride on him for John's size. So the speed map here, Tom, has Winning Dragon leading.
Yeah, well, he led up, of course, in the Queen Mother Memorial Cup a few weeks ago, the main lead up to this, and led against his rivals here. Cap Ferrar shouldn't be too far away. You've got Voyage Bubble, who should be able to race handy in the trail, and then you've got moments in time with Ruby Lot, Bundle Award out the back there, like he was in the small field with the Queen Mother.
It is not a distance we see all that often in Hong Kong, the 2,400 metres. So who better to ask about riding it tactically than Hong Kong's most winning jockey of all time, Zac Purton.
It's generally the case. The more runners you have, the more pressure there is. But barriers will dictate the early pace of the race. If the horses that generally go back draw wide, they'll just sort of fall back, and the on-pace runners will find their spot. If the pace draws out wide, no doubt the horses inside will be trying to hold their spot as they normally do, and it's a hard race to predict. You go into it some years thinking there's no speed, and then everyone from inside rides their horses like they're in a mile race, and all of a sudden you run to the first corner well inside standard and your chances are already over. So it's just a matter of working it out as we go, really.
Zac will be back later in the show to talk about his ride on the race ensued. But from a local angle, there could be history at Sha Tin on Sunday with this horse, Voyage Bubble, looking to become just the second horse to win the Triple Crown. This is how he got there. He won his second Stewards Cup back in January. That was leg 1. He then followed that up and went to the Hong Kong Gold Cup, and he was too good in that race after they had the presentation for the Stewards Cup. They were at it again, the owners. There's plenty of them, as we know, and Voyage Bubble won the Hong Kong Gold Cup. He's unknown over 2,400 metres. James McDonald will be in town to ride him. He's a 4-time Group 1 winner, is Voyage Bubble. This one, a very important one. And he's looking to become just the second horse in around 30 years to pick up the $10 million bonus by winning the Triple Crown. The first one, he didn't get a $10 million bonus, but Nick went to meet the sole winner of the Hong Kong Triple Crown, River Verdon.
Happy Valley Racecourse here on Hong Kong Island is famed the world over for the exciting racing that takes place out on the track, and that very much party atmosphere down in the beer garden and the regular band on a Wednesday evening. But what some viewers might not know is that it also is home to the Racing Museum here at the Hong Kong Jockey Club. A wonderful facility it is as well, and I've come along to meet and see one of its prime exhibits. It is, of course, this horse behind me, River Verdon, who was a 3-time Horse of the Year here in Hong Kong. He arrived here in the late 80s and joined the stable of David Hill. He was owned by 2 former chairmen, of course, here at the Hong Kong Jockey Club, Sir Oswald Chung and also the Right Honourable Ronnie R. Cully.
River Verdon got a length in front of Motivation in my hometown. River Verdon wins a length and a half. Motivation. That was the win that the punters wanted to see.
Unbeaten in his first season from 6 races, that culminated with a spectacular victory in the Hong Kong Derby and the first of 4 Champions and Chater Cups on his final run of that very first season. He can also stake claim to a number of firsts. He was the very first horse from Hong Kong to race overseas in an Arlington Million in the US of A, and he was also the very first horse to win 10 million Hong Kong dollars in prize money. But the jewel very much in his crown, of course, is that he was the very first horse to win a Hong Kong Triple Crown.
River Verdon by a neck, Happy Guy picking it back, but River Verdon's won the Stewards Cup from Happy Guy. He's a real champion. He's raced out by 3 lengths to Deerfield, Armand Sachs, and he's absolutely blitzed them in an enormous win in the Gold Cup for the 3rd time in succession. And at the 100 metres, the Triple Crown is his. River Verdon racing away for his 4th Hong Kong Champions and Chater Cup, and unextended wins it by 3.5 lengths. And it is River Verdon taking the Triple Crown, the first Triple Crown winner in Hong Kong.
The man who put the soundtrack to those races was commentator Robert Geller, now plying his trade in Canada, but he also has some wonderful memories of this great horse.
But when River Verdon came along, the level jumped, and there was this concept of, Hong Kong's going to build a future of expansion and attract better horses. And when a local came forward in River Verdon, there was a tremendous buzz about the way Hong Kong racing was progressing. And for him to then proceed to be a contender on the international scene for a local horse was very, very exciting. In terms of the Triple Crown, it was just such a comfort because that was a horse that deserved it 100%. And I think he just had that aura about him that when they turned for home, the crowd would anticipate his move. And it produced what I thought were really memorable performances. It didn't matter who he was racing against. He brought his game every time.
Well, you too can come and visit the Hong Kong Racing Museum here at Happy Valley. It is due to go under renovation from the 9th of June to the start of the new season, but it will be open daily from 12 p.m. at midday. So do come along and take a look at some of these wonderful exhibits, as well as River Verdon, of course. You can get your opportunity to take a look back at some of Hong Kong's rich racing history.
What a good horse. Stood there beautifully the entire interview and didn't move a muscle. That is River Verdon. The one that can join him is our focus now. Tom, we're going to start with Voyage Bubble. Here he is running second. He couldn't get past Redline in the Champions Bowl last time. Is that some concern leading into this race this week?
Redline was just the horse on the day that drew the right stall, got the circumstances to suit, and they were the top 2 in the run, and the top 2 to the wire. Obviously, you go through his sort of pedigree there. There's not a lot of sort of staying prowess after the 2,000 metres there with him, but he's got to be in with some sort of a chance. That's the only reason I'm not putting him in on top or the top 2 is just that 2,400 metres we know is unknown with him against a few season stayers.
Yeah, look, agree. I think it's not a major concern. It is a concern, obviously, because he's never tried it. But with a horse of his class, it might just see him through. But he's still got to prove it. He's still got to prove that, hasn't he, going forward?
This is his trial, Nick. Now, this trial was over 1,200 metres. Cap Ferrar wins it. Bundle Award runs 7th. He won the Queen Mother Memorial, but he took a long time to pull up in this trial Voyage Bubble.
Absolutely. Look, he is a class act. I mean, you just look at his profile on paper, 10 wins from 25. He's placed a further 10 times. He's only ran outside of the top 4 on 4 occasions. So he's a complete class act. It goes without saying. And look, I know he was turned over last time by Red Lion, but he's a good, hardy, tough knocking horse, Tom. And, he was better on the day. But, I mean, he is all quality Voyage Bubble.
Ricky, you saying he's a horse that listens to his jockey. He's going to leave it up to James McDonald when it comes to how things play out on Sunday, but he's more of a relaxed horse these days than he was when, say, he was trying the Derby distance for the first time.
He's the big name of the locals is Voyage Bubble. We do have an international visitor joining us once again with Dubai and are looking to break through and get that win at Sha Tin. He's won 9 from 30. He was a Group 1 winner over 2,400 metres in Sydney 2 starts ago when he won the Tancred Stakes. There's his record so far in the 4 Hong Kong Group 1s. Nick spoke with the assistant trainer to William Haggas, who's always with Dubai Honour. It is Izzy Paul.
Izzy Paul, great to see you here with Dubai Honour, of course. Always great to catch up. And this wonderful horse, trained by your boss, William Haggas, is here for another go in Hong Kong. And I imagine you must be quite confident and excited at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. He's obviously off the back of 2 massive runs in Australia. He won the Tancred Stakes and then was very gallant, finishing second behind Via Sistina in the Queen Elizabeth as well. So very pleased with how he's travelled over. He was a little bit cheeky, as I'm sure people saw on Tuesday morning, but since then has been training beautifully and actually coping with the incredibly humid conditions really well.
Yeah, it seems like he's getting quite comfortable with Sha Tin. Let's just talk about the horse, Izzy, sort of as a person, if you will. He's just been a wonderful story, a wonderful servant to his connections. What kind of horse is he? Tell us about Dubai Honour.
Oh, look, he's the ideal horse to travel because he's so laid back. He just takes everything in his stride and actually even kind of seems to really thrive off it. He loves all the kind of attention, and we had Steph out here from the Hong Kong Jockey Club yesterday, and he's there giving her a cuddle and sort of looking for sweets, and all that sort of side of him just makes him a really special character. And then obviously to continue to perform at Group 1 level as a 7-year-old is quite amazing.
And especially for us here, Izzy, obviously it's great to have these international runners come over to Hong Kong. You and he have quite become the pair, haven't you? I mean, I know he means the world to you. Yeah,
absolutely. We've done 2 Aussie trips, and this is our 4th trip to Hong Kong together. So we've spent a lot of one-on-one time together. And yeah, look, he's a very likeable horse, and he's a horse that I ride every day at home as well as out here. So you form a pretty special bond, especially when they stay in training that bit longer.
He's having a go at a different race this time around, is he? The Champions in Chater, of course, a mile and a half. He ran so well in the Vars last December. He's getting that little bit older. Is this very much his trip now? I mean, his form would perhaps suggest that.
Yeah, I think so. The mile and a half trip definitely seems to suit him. As I said, you know, he ran a very big race in the Queen Elizabeth, which was obviously back down to 10 furlongs. But the mile and a half, you know, he won the Prix de Saint-Cloud last year, and then obviously the Tancred was a mile and a half, finished second behind Giavolotto, again over a mile and a half in December. So yeah, he just looks like he's sort of staying that trip a little bit better, and we're sort of fingers crossed for a big race on Sunday.
We know that this has always been the one that your boss, William Haggas, has always wanted, a win here in Hong Kong. I imagine it's a special place. He's obviously got that connection to the late, great Lester Piggott, etc. as well. So do you feel any pressure at all bringing this horse over, knowing that, you know, the boss really does want to win here?
I mean, I really want to win here as well. So I suppose there's a little bit of pressure there, and the horse has finished 2nd, 3rd and 4th here. So he's shown good form here, and there's no reason that he shouldn't pick one up somewhere. I think it would be fantastic to get a win, but because the horse he never runs a bad race, so I shouldn't say things like that, but anyway, he never seems to run a bad race, and you know, so from that perspective there's probably a little bit less pressure.
I guess finally, from a pressure perspective, you're trying to upset a Triple Crown aspiration as well with Voyage Bubble. So look, it's not an easy race, granted, but it should be a good race nevertheless with some quality horses.
Yeah, you know, looking forward to it, and yeah, we seem to end up breaking hearts wherever we go. So hopefully we do the same on Sunday.
There is Izzy Paul talking at Dubai. Now we're off to a break here on Racing to Win. Back to continue our preview of the Champions in Chater and all of the best bets right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win. Before we get back to our preview on the Standard Chartered Champions and Chater Cup, the last Group 1 of the season, it's time for the last run reminder. Tom, fitting that Dubai Honour ran second behind Via Sistina because these are the Via Sistina colours.
They are, of course. Yulong, Mr. Zhang there, and to this horse trained by Mark Newnham, and he's been knocking on the door. He's a 4-year-old by Zoo Star. Last time out, he lifted his front legs off the ground. He missed it, so he had a clear excuse at the start. He sat a lot further back than he normally would, this horse, and this time round, that was in Class 4. He's up into Class 3 here with only 118 pounds on his back. You can see him behind here. This race was won by Moon Rocket, and he eventually got into the clear here and finished off pretty well over the final stages. Been close up his last two. Of course, he was narrowly defeated 2 runs ago there to Parents Love when he went down a short head. So a short head and neck as beatings his last two. Looks ready to run a big race again. Drawn barrier 6, so he is more towards the far side than the grandstand side.
Well, race 9, number 13 is the last run reminder. Back we go to the champions and Chater. Zac Purton won the main lead-up race, the Queen Mother Memorial and Bundle Award. Well, he's riding for John Size. Nick spoke to him about his ride in the big race. It's ensued this week.
First of all, we may cut to the chase. Why him over Bundle Award, perhaps?
I was already committed to him before I rode Bundle Award, so that is primarily the reason that I was on him. But at the same time, I think he's, hopefully the better chance, because he's shown at Group 1 international level over this distance in December that he ran very well. He was right there, and with a little bit more of a cleaner run, he could have been even closer again. But he's a type of horse that needs a little bit of time to wind up. So the 2400 might even be a little bit on the short side for him, but he's certainly going to run the distance. And like I said, he's proven that against the international horses before, and he's had a good season. So hopefully he's the right one.
It's fascinating you say that about the trip, of course. I mean, this is as far as we do go in Hong Kong. Not many opportunities for them, but he's looked every inch the mile-and-a-half horse, hasn't he, really, in those sort of 2000 runs?
Yeah, one thing he hasn't done in any of his races is given ground in the straight. He always continues to keep finding the line, and, if anything, he just runs out of time to get there. So hopefully it's my job to get him into the race at the right time and let his stamina and ability to run strongly through the line shine.
You've had a sit on him in the trials, Zach. How did he feel?
He never trials flash. It's far too short for him, and he don't like the dirt. But he's fit, he's healthy, he's well, and that's all we're after.
I know you're perhaps only really worried about your own horse, and that's the one you want to get home in front. But what of the opposition? I mean, this is a good race this year, isn't it? You've got Voyage Bubble, of course, going for that Triple Crown. You've got Dubai Honour, as the aforementioned Bundle Award won the recognised trial. So it's a fairly handy race, isn't it?
It's a larger field than probably what we would have been expecting. But there's an interesting element there with Dubai Honour coming back, and as you say, Voyage Bubble going for the Triple Crown, and you got Bundle Award on the way up, and some horses there out of the Derby, and some older horses that have been going around for a long time. So they're all meeting at the same spot, and we'll see how the race is going to be run. But a genuinely run race, I think, is going to sort everyone out, and hopefully that's what we get.
Tom, we move on now to the QE2 Cup and your thoughts on Ensued. And what about Cap Ferrar? Both of them coming out of this race with Ruby Lot moments in time, but we'll focus on the 4th and the 5th ones home here.
Yeah, I really like the run of both Ensued and Cap Ferrar. Obviously, Ensued in this race, he looked to be under a fair bit of pressure coming towards the home turn, but did pick up strongly in the end to run 4th there behind Tastier, and I think it's another big opportunity here up into the 2400 metre brigade here, where he was the first horse home out of the locals back in December, and Ensued. I think he's, I should say, Cap Ferrar, I think he's going really well at the moment. Won't be any concerns with the 2400 metres. He did run 6th on a heavy track over the trip in Australia.
Yeah, look, they're good stayers, some of these. I think that's what they're crying out for. And that horse we saw there, Ruby Lot, running on, he'll stay the trip, make no bones about it.
We'll hear from David Hayes very shortly. Nick, will go firstly to the Queen Mother Memorial, which was just a walk and a sprint home. Thus, Bundle Award broke 22 seconds for his last section. Yeah,
he did indeed. And obviously this race, traditionally the ideal lead up for the champions and Chater, and he's come through it with flying colours, this horse. This is only his 8th start. He's now won 3 times here in Hong Kong, so he's doing a good bit in a short space of time here, Bundle Award. So look, it'll be a different test for him this time in, Tom, but he's clearly a horse who is on the up upgrade and continues to go the right way.
Yeah, well, this, of course, was handicap conditions, so it's going to be that little bit more difficult for him this time round. For what it's worth, you mentioned that time, Mark, 21.67. Well, Kaying Rising has run 21.78 for his last 400, so just shows what a sit sprint affair that really was last start.
Absolutely, to get home in that sort of time. But it's back-to-back interviews now. We've got Nick with Andrea Atzeni talking Bundle Award, and David Hayes, Ruby Lot.
Brilliant ride to get. He's a young horse, sort of quite lightly raced here, and he won quite nicely the last day in a Group 3 over the same trip. And yeah, no. So hopefully, if we can get a nice trip round, it's a very open race, and yeah, no, he's not without a chance.
And I guess the fact he has won the recognised trial, the Queen Mother Memorial, that's obviously key, because there aren't too many chances over the 2,400 metres, but you can be confident that he will certainly stay it.
Correct. Obviously, they didn't go very quick, which he turned into a bit of a sprint, and he's the horse that can actually quicken. It could happen very similar on Sunday. I'm not sure how much pace is going to be in the race, but it doesn't really matter with him because he's a horse that gets the trip, but he can quicken too. So yeah, fingers crossed.
Very confident in the 1.5 miles. He's by a speed side, but out of a very dour mare, and I think he's thrown to her. Mind you, he's won at 1,000 as well, so he's quite an amazing young horse. But his last 2 runs, he's just been crowded and been a little bit unlucky, and just hasn't been able to let go as much as he can. I really think Hugh really thinks he should have ran 3rd in the big race the other day, and that was enough to say let's have a go in this. And he hasn't gone backwards since. Hasn't missed a piece of work, and I'm confident he'll run the 1.5 miles.
He certainly has. And just finally, I mean, you're a great man to ask, of course, with vast experience in this game. A good race, this. I mean, Dubai Honour, we know plenty of him. Voyage Bubble's going for that Triple Crown tilt. I mean, it's a fairly good race this year, isn't it? Yeah, you'd be a brave man to tip against Voyage Bubble. I'll back he'll stay the distance. Yeah. And if he does, I think he'll be very hard to beat.
So they're David Hayes' thoughts. That's what he thinks. Tom, who do you think wins the Champions and Jata?
He's very confident there, David, by the sound of things, but I'm going with Dubai Honour. That ideally like a shower of rain as well for him, but there's no rain on the forecast by the looks of things for Sunday. So Dubai Honour to beat Ensued. Nothing wrong with his 2,400 metre form. Voyage Bubble in for a 3rd, Cap Ferrar in for 4th. 2-4-1-3. Yeah, I've also gone Dubai Honour here. He seemingly goes on all sorts of ground, but obviously very good when there is a bit of mud flying. But he goes on top for me. Ensued will stay all day. I think he can run a big race in this. This is his race. Voyage Bubble has to go, and he's the class. And Bundle Award, having won the trial for this, in for 4th. 2-4-1-10. And all of the races are previewed on the website hkjc.com. Click on audio and video. But there's 11 races to find a best bet in, Tom. Which have you gone with? Best bet for Sha Tin is race 2, a newcomer, Invincible Ibis, who's on debut for Luke Ferraris and Mark Newton. Looks to have been trialling well, and here he is in one of these trials most recently. He's had 5 in total, and he looks like he's certainly a horse to follow. The 3-year-old by Hellbent making his debut from a good draw. Like the way he linked in there late in that trial. Value with John Size, race 10, number 4, Enthrall. Gets a set of blinkers thrown at him at the weekend. And the play in the last. South Star, Top Dragon, Super Express, all progressive 3-year-olds. Yeah, best bet for me, I've gone race 10, number 8 to Gold Master. He's really going the right way, this horse. Andrea Atzeni will be on board once again. The value, race 5, number 8, Beauty Live. He's got a good record, course and distance, off a very attractable mark nowadays as well. The play, race 7, numbers 3, 4 and 7 at QQP. We'll grab that middle one from the play and go Max Q as the best. He's been getting close. Mark Newnham, Hugh Bowman, the combination race 7, number 4. The value, Healthy, James McDonald on, so that'll knock a couple of bucks off the price, but he's pretty unlucky at the Valley last time, and 5, 9 and 10 in a QQP ends the play for race number 9. Here is the diary, Nick, about what is upcoming after Sunday. Absolutely, yeah. Look, it's obviously a big day coming up on the weekend. We're back to Happy Valley on the 28th, and then obviously the Group 3 doubleheader coming up on the 31st. Yep, but we'll see if history could be made at Sha Tin over the weekend with Voyage Bubble. We will indeed. With 11 races, 12:30 the first, and will River Verdon get some company, becoming only the 2nd Triple Crown winner if Voyage Bubble can do it.